Hello, everybody, and welcome to Football Kentron, the one and only English podcast for Armenian football. And I'm not your host, Aram, as you might tell by the voice, by the elegant voice. I'm Armin, and I'm going to be hosting today. What happened, Aram?
I got eye surgery.
Wah,
That's what happened.
wah. Okay,
Anyway,
so basically, the last thing you saw was the
was
Armenian National
yes, was the
Team.
Armenian. Unfortunately,
Oof, that's gonna hurt.
it does. We'll talk about
Ouch.
that later, though.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to dissect and a lot of topics to get into. First things first, challenge. Why don't you run us through the APL and the positions, the table, because it's almost halfway through the season, and there's already a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, we're somewhat into the halfway into the season. We've got a lot of action, a lot. Just before this episode, we're already discussing it. Aaron was discussing about it, and we could potentially see a very tight ending to the season. Ararat Armenia are on a very good streak, no losses at all.
Ooh, the race
They're
for the top.
they're top with 22 points on top of the table, with Ararat Yerevan right behind them with 18 points, so 4-point difference. They've got Punic behind them in the third place with 15 points. Again, 3 points difference, not much big of a gap. Then Sevan, Noah, Urardu, Noravank, Van, and ninth place Alashkert, the Conference League team. Yeah, someone's laughing. And Bukma at the bottom of the table.
I legit feel bad for the boys at Bukama. No points whatsoever.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah,
place,
I don't
no
feel
doesn't
bad
make
for them.
sense.
I don't. They gotta earn. They have to earn their points.
Yeah,
man.
that
Yeah,
does
but
make
it's
sense.
like a team structure, which is not like, Ararat
It's a
Armenia, let's say.
yeah. But I also found it weird that they were able to sign players. I don't know if you guys noticed. I think it was it Garaginian,
Ishkhanian and
Ishkhanian,
Yuri Gariginian, yeah,
and Yuri Garaginian was signed for them,
two
which
experienced players.
I think that is stupid, but whatever. I digress. I don't want to get
No,
into it.
I think it's interesting. I mean,
Strange.
maybe not the best signing, especially Gariginian, because there are a lot of attacking players, attacking midfielders that could have bolstered big time. Not that he's bad, but they're way better in Armenian. Ishkhanian, though, it's a great signing for Dukma, mostly such an experienced center back. A couple other interesting points I got to think about. Alashkert, of course, no one expects anything from them by now, be it domestically as well as continentally. Interesting to see Punic kind of appear in top three positions, isn't it? All of a sudden, kind of.
Yeah, every single time I watch any of Punic's games, they never impress me, like ever.
Exactly. That's why.
They seem to be like, I think, the embodiment of like what is everything good and bad of Armenian football. That's how I see Punic, because their style of play is very pleasing on the eye. It's nice to see, and they have very good technical players, but it feels like whenever they get into the final third, they're like headless chickens. Like they just don't know. They just run around and then they lose the ball. I don't know. That's my my quick analysis.
You just summed up Armenian football in a nutshell.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately.
Well, another very interesting game, in my opinion, and perhaps the game of the game week. Well, after, of course, the Ararat derby for the top of the table. Second best game for me was underrated. Noah beating Sevan 2-1 and breaking through that kind of fortress in the lake that Sevan FC had created and built with a wonderful show from Noah FC. Ran mostly kind of like a puppeteer. by former Sporting Braga Academy maestro in Portugal, Sarkis Shahinian, a great player, kind of a creative midfielder that has gone all under the radar for a long time, and I personally like very much how he plays. He is a great talent for Armenian football, and he had been subbed for most of the season so far, and now he ran the show for Noah, breaking Sevan's portrait, which is no small feat, and that led to Noah beating them and reducing kind of the distance between Noah and Sevan. As a side note, I actually want to highlight, this insane breakthrough from Urartu Academy goalkeeper Grigori Matevosyan. I don't know if you guys have heard about this kid.
Mm-hmm. He's number 99. He's the goalkeeper for Noah. I've watched him play a few times this season, not that much, maybe 2 or 3 games. And I watched him save a penalty. I watched him give away a penalty and then immediately save a penalty. So, no, he looks really he's a surprise. He's a under the radar.
A breakthrough, yeah.
A breakthrough. He's I think he's a player that no one saw coming. I think it's kind of impossible to say.
Exactly. In a good way,
Yeah.
Big time. It usually happens the other way around for us. And this is actually a great change of settings and a very welcome change, because this 22-year-old kid from Urartu Academy, side note, wow, bro, Urartu Academy just doesn't stop giving and giving great players, great talents to Armenian football.
We need more of it. Not just Urartu, we need more of it. Yeah.
Well, we got 2 academies, 2 big academies, Urartu and Bukma. So Urartu, though, gets them ready for the breakthrough. Bukma is kind of formation, under 21. Urartu takes them a little bit further. And basically, Grigori Matevosyan is the perfect example. As you, Adam, said, he's he only started playing last month after Noah bought him from Urartu halfway through the year. Only started playing last month and played 5 games so far for Noah first team. Noah won 3 of those 5 games and are now fighting for European spots. I'm not saying thanks to him, but kind of, because he saved 2 penalty kicks in very important and very close games.
Yep.
But we have to move on to another kind of not strictly football related news, because former Ligue 1 champion in France and Newcastle United striker, Frenchman Yoann Gouffran, unfortunately retired from international professional football, due to undisclosed family issues. What that means, the French star had been playing for Ararat Armenia for the last year and a half, led the team to yet another APL title, became captain of the team, and most importantly, notably raised the bar for Armenian football as a whole in the APL in every single aspect. I was so shocked in a good way when Ararat Armenia signed him. And after almost 20 months, we're going to see him leave. This is obviously a heavy moral blow, psychological blow to FCAA right before they were to play against Ararat Yerevan for the top of the table, the clash of the Ararats. How do you deal with such news if you're FCAA?
That's a good question, and I think it just comes down to leadership in the locker room. It's that's kind of what he was also brought in for, not only for his footballing talents, but kind of someone who everyone knew about, like the name, the pedigree. And I'm sure Ararat Armenia has the leadership in the locker room to be able to, step up and step into that role. I'm not sure who it's going to be, to be honest. But, looking at the personnel that Ararat Armenia have on their team, they have a very good team. And I don't see this causing too much of a hiccup in their road to what seems like an inevitable title.
Yeah, that's true. And two things I want to say. But before that, Challenge, anything to add regarding Johan and this whole news?
Regarding Luan, it's tough to do with it. We saw before with Alashkert's manager dealing with these kind of things. Going away for family issues. These things happen, and it's outside football. You gotta accept it. But in terms of Johan's contribution to football, it was amazing to have him, and that sentence should not stay just as it was, but possible future management, maybe his role would be much appreciated. Now that we're going into Europe, his kind of intelligence is kind of, for sure, he's kind of like a role model, you guys said, but it's not just only in the locker room. You could use his support, his help in any kind of way in football. In the future, he could come back, and since he's very appreciated, as we see on social media, he could come back and help any team, especially Ararat Armenia.
Yeah, I think he was pleasantly surprised by being in Armenia. I think it wasn't what he expected
he was.
at all.
Most times it's actually like that, when big stars, kind of like Gufran and Caparros and anyone that goes and works in Armenia, they are pleasantly surprised. And that actually got me thinking, it shouldn't be like too long before a similar star, like a star of such magnitude, could land in Armenia. Why not?
I think it's a matter of time. Maybe not in the next 2 years, but again, if we start seeing more regular European play, for example, Ararat Armenia, who I think I speak on behalf of all of us when I say we would love to see Ararat Armenia in the Conference League, because they're honestly a good team.
Way better than Alashkert.
Way better than Alashkert. I think if you were to put this current Ararat Armenia team in Alashkert's Conference League group, I think you would say they have a very good chance of making it out.
Yeah, much closer. And before moving on to that, we don't want to forget, of course, to wish Johan and his family all the best. Hope everything gets better soon. Not that our wishes matter, but that this is genuine. And most of all, we want to thank him on behalf of every sensible Armenian football fan, because his contribution for Armenian football history has not gone unnoticed. But on to more cheerful and strictly football news now. You mentioned Alashkert, Aram. Jesus Christ. Armenian National Team disappointment 2.0 in a way, this Alashkert side. They, as we talked about, they barely snatched a 1-1 draw last minute. We're not going to go over the goal scorers. Against a pretty pale, as Adam said, pretty pale and pretty somber looking Punic. That is actually third place Punic, looking like that, So imagine Alashkert having played mostly starters against a pale Punic, barely getting a draw last minute. They are about to host Conference League Group A leaders Lask from Austria. They are leading the group alongside Maccabi Tel Aviv. And things are not looking good at all, are they?
Yeah. I don't. It's just like we said. We had our expectations were already low, but man, they just keep knocking it down even further.
Why.
Yeah, again, we already talked about the match against HJK. Like any half decent team would have won that game. Ararat Armenia, I think, would have demolished HJK. I don't think that match would have been close.
Exactly, because HJK is a Finnish team, and that's as such, they are comfortable around a very specific type of weather. And Armenia in during the fall would have been the perfect opportunity to get, even if a point. It was the best opportunity Alashkert had to get anything out of the group,
Yeah.
and they miserably failed. And I think, you know what I think? I think they still can't find a way to deal with losing David Davidyan, their star player, and coach Alexander Grigorian.
Um,
Because let's be real, Davidyan is what made the difference for them, basically
yes.
becoming the APL champions last
I
season.
just think they're. I mean,
I dragged them.
there's systematic failures
Yeah,
on
that's
it's
true.
not just that. It's their product on the pitch is a byproduct of poor management, both on the pitch and off the pitch, poor club management from the ownership, poor sporting decisions, and
Yeah.
it just seems like they're just repeating themselves. Like, for example, they just signed a former was it Zenit youth central defender who is Armenian, who was called up to the under
Lokomotiv.
Gujian, who got called up to the Armenian under-21 team, but he reportedly didn't play because they couldn't get the citizenship issue settled in time. But he's apparently supposed to be very good. And I remember thinking when I read that statement that
they actually got Levon Bayramian as well from Rostov.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Krasnodar.
So my point being that it's a shame that these young Armenians are choosing to go to this club because this club isn't going to play them, and it's not going to be good.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think we talk about Alashkert enough. We dedicate a little too much.
And the same phenomenon actually happened with Artur Avagimian, our boy from formerly Shakhtar, and of course Kiram Kadimian, and so on and so forth. Hell, how could I forget one of Tito's favorites, Haik Galstian from Hoffenheim Academy? Yeah. They hired him back to Armenia, and they wasted him.
Exactly. So that's what I mean by it. That's what I mean by that. It's a systematic issue.
Definitely. So if you're a young Armenian diasporan with solid, realistic prospect at a career in professional football, just know Alashkert isn't the best choice for you.
Yeah, if a guy named Bagrat comes knocking at your door, that's not a good sign. I wouldn't answer.
Smoking a cigar and whatnot. Okay, so Chadens, you there?
Yeah, I would be.
Let me hear your beautiful voice a little bit.
All right, let's get
tell
on.
Me what's going on in Cyprus, Chadens?
Well, Anorthosi played. They've got the games with Flora Tallinn. Hovo is still injured, but Anorthosi is somewhat covered.
Conference.
Yeah, they're not really in a good position in the league. However, from what I've read, they're trying to recover from their losses.
So
that's all I know.
They definitely need to get
I
back
would
on
assume.
track.
I'm not much. To be honest, I'm not much of a updated on their squad. However, they would possibly need. I mean, we cover much of Armenian football where we talk about Hovo a lot, and we know how much of an influence he is as a right back. His passing, his work rate.
He is injured. He is still injured. He's recovering actually. So I don't. As you said, they're playing Flora Tallinn. I don't think they need him right now for that game because Flora Tallinn, although a good team by Baltic Sea standards, in Cyprus, Flora would be a low table team. if not relegation. So hopefully Hovo will be fit enough and be back for domestic league clashes soon. But we want to talk about other conference league results. First, we got Bodo Glimt from Norway as well, taking on Roma. Henrik Mkhitaryan, our captain, probably won't be needed because of the team level difference. So Mourinho could just save him from 4 Serie A games.
Possibly
We
you could
got
do
a
that, yeah.
lot. Yeah,
He
we
will
got
do
a
that.
lot to
He will do
talk.
that. He did the same when United were in the Europa League. Henrik didn't play in the group stage.
Yeah.
He'll do the same thing here. He's not going to play in the group stage.
He
Why
knows his
would
quality.
why would you waste him? You know, he's aging at this point. He can't play that many games and pick and choose his games, you know.
We got a lot to talk about. Speaking of Hino, we got a lot to complain about, especially. But we'll leave that for later. Last conference league game concerning us in Armenian football is Karabakh from Azerbaijan.
Don't call him
Taking on
Karabakh. They call him Karabag because they're not Karabakh.
blah blah blah.
Well, a simple way to explain is for non-Armenian audiences. A simple way is, remember when Arsenal played Chelsea in the final in the Europa League in Baku? Basically, those stuff. He cannot go due to being an Armenian. That's the simplest way we can explain.
Yep.
Perfect. That's a clash for next time to elaborate. We gotta go back home to Yerevan. Armenia under-21 national team had another qualifying window, winless qualifying window this time. 2 losses, 1-4 against Serbia, this opening it up, and 1-2 loss against Macedonia, both at home. It was kind of ironic. Has any of you guys watched the games? Any of the games? Anything?
Yeah, I watched the Serbia game. I didn't get a chance to watch the Macedonia game, unfortunately. And the Serbia game was like peak Armenian. It was wonderful. It was 80
What you were
minutes.
talking about was unique.
Yeah, it was 80 minutes of solid, good football. They looked like they were going to get the winner. They scored a banging goal. It was like a cool free kick, like training grounds type play. Shawayan was having like a master class on the pitch. Everything was going great. And then suddenly the players stopped running. They stopped focusing and they collapsed.
I would say around the 70th, 75th, 80th minute.
It was the 80th minute because it was 15 minutes. Serbia scored 3 goals in 15 minutes. And they won a penalty as well that they didn't convert. So it could have been.
And during the first half, actually, one of the key things that, in my opinion, contributed to the team basically falling and breaking psychologically before physically was that they got a goal mistakenly ruled out before the opener. I mean, it should have been 2-0, and the game is there in the FFA YouTube channel for everyone to watch. Go to the Serbia game under 21. Around the half hour in, you're gonna notice a perfect goal ruled out by the Icelandic ref. But yeah, that doesn't make up for the fact that the team broke when the game was about to finish, and they went from being 1-1 in official terms to losing 1-4. And the second game was actually ironic because it went the exact other way around. Macedonia was dominating through and through. Armenia was keeping most of possession because that's how Armenian youth teams play. They play tiki-taka because of Urartu and Bakma academies. That's how they grow up. You know, that's what they teach them. But what they don't teach them is to make the most of opportunities. Armenia was dominating possession, but Macedonia was clearly having the best quality counterattacks and goal situations. That's how Macedonia managed to get 2-0 up. Besides, Macedonian players are, even if when at young age, they already play at like pro big time European stages. You know, they are professionals at a very young age, and that doesn't happen for Armenian kids. You know, that's how it went. Armenia base barely managed to grab a last-minute goal to reduce the distance, but it wasn't enough.
I would have wished that they
work
did
on.
more.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot to work on, really. But
I mean, it's a long-term thing, but you know, it would be nice to see at least one win or draw or something. You know.
they already won. They got a result here and there. It's a very tight group, by the way. It's a very
Yeah.
tight group because even Faroe Islands is getting results almost every window. They're a very underrated team, and I genuinely think there's a lot to work on. But, and this is a big but, no pun intended, a lot of stuff to be positive about. Yeah, so moving on to another Armenian national team, this time the women's national team. After the first competitive window in 8 years, as we talked about during our previous episodes, and the first competitive game at home in Yerevan in 10 years, our ladies will now travel to Albania to play on Thursday 21st, same day actually as Alashkert against Lask. So that's going to be a pretty packed up day for us Armenian football fans. And then women's national teams is going to host Kosovo in Yerevan on Tuesday 26th. So jammed up week for Armenian football. Challenge, why don't you run us through the Armenian women's national team squad list Coach Sanamian has prepared for this window?
Let's go. Goalkeepers, Lena Andrastrian and Susan Sirekhanyan, who are both from Punic. Anastasia Klimova, Yenisei, which is a Russian team. Defenders, Ani Rugasyan and Nora Yerian, with Maria Shakinova, three of them from Punic. Liana Ghazarian, Hayasa FC. Thank you for the shoutouts, by the way, on social media. Anyuta Galician and Nelly Khalatian, again, from Punic, which they invested a lot in their building their squad, their women's squad. Christine Pabikian, Anush Arakelian, both being called up from Noravank. Tatiana Domatova from Yenisei, Russia again. Christine Alexanyan from FC Kharkiv, which is a Ukrainian team. Sini Vermilion, thank you for your support again from social media. Blue Hearts USA. Midfielders, Nariter Megridicyan, Luisa Ghazarian, and Heine Chovikyan, with Ani Karapetyan and Veronika Asadrian, all five from Punic. Marian Pedrosyan from Noravank. Olga Osipian, okay, this is going to be tough to pronounce. A Ukrainian team, Zhitlobut, Zhilstroy Kharkiv. Nasie Avesyan, who's currently a free agent with Ani Sarkisyan, both coming from the USA. And forwards, Anna Dalakian from Hayasa, Devin Agababyan and Baidzar Asadarian from Punic, Mara Artim from Castellon, Spain, Oksana Pizlova from Voshchod, which is a Ukrainian team.
So we got a couple pointers to dissect over here. Interesting to see a couple players, teammates actually, from Yenisei in Russia, which is a club with, I would say, solid ties to the Armenian community. Of course, MVP Ani Rugasyan, that is on her later years of her career, so hopefully she'll pass on all that knowledge. But you can't pass a skill, but she's the MVP in my opinion. That's another thing I want to highlight is the midfielders. A lot of Punic players is basically going to be Punic midfield with a very solid couple of addings, like Captain Olya, and of course the two players from the USA that are super talented, Anis Sarkisyan and Nancy Avesian, that actually plays a different type of football, if I'm not mistaken, guys. I think one of you knows about that. Speed football, table tennis football. What was it?
Oh yeah, tech ball.
Tech
yeah.
ball, yeah.
It's it requires a lot of skill.
Yeah, it requires a lot of skill, but it's not 90 minutes football. So I think that the best way to use Ani and no, it's for real. I mean, you don't play 11 against 11, and of course, Ani's talents are undisputed, and that's what makes her a weapon. I think she should be the classic super sub type of player. What do you guys think?
No, I mean, sure, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I remember the last time, last semester, that Nancy was brought in the national team, and it was always the same. She started off great, and over time, over the minutes, she would kind of tune out of the team. You could tell that she is different in both the good and the bad aspects. So hopefully, Coach Sanamian does use her in the best way possible. And yeah, other than that, I want to highlight that we follow most of our players' campaigns, but Jesus, defender Kristine Alexanyan from FC Kharkiv in Ukraine, this player is getting regular, and listen to this, she's getting regular women's Champions League action, and that's a huge improvement in experience. We don't have any men's national team playing Champions League. We have one playing for the women's national team. We must definitely make the most of this, and of course, I'm sure Christine agrees with this and is going to make the most of this. Will motivate the rest of the squad and carry many great lessons for such a young national team like ours. Which brings me to my next focus point, not question, because this is a very interesting thing. 20 out of the 25 women's national team players are 22 years old or younger. Only 4 players are over 30. And then there's Captain Olya Osipian, that is 26. So this is a long-term project. How important do you think this could play out in our favor, Challenge? And as a coach, how do you make the most of Kristina Alexanyan's experience as a basically Champions League player? Because that's what she is for our kids. The rest of the team are kids. How do you make the most of that?
Look, man, I'm just a normal. I'm not even a proper coach, but
you got a license. Come on, don't play
that doesn't matter, man. That doesn't matter. That's for U12s. In general, I'll give an opinion on the general idea of working on this whole project. Just like Anna mentioned it on our episode, on our interview with her, it's gonna take time. That's a common thing to say, but it's football. You really have to give it time. Second thing we need to look at is the development of the team. We've got this kind of transfers, these things happening with Champions League football, ladies moving to Armenia to play. You can see that it's these mini steps that should help out a lot for the national team, which brings me to another point. A lot of them play in Armenia, and a lot of them, like loads of them, play in the same team, which is specifically Punic. So
exactly,
this can be a very big benefit. I mean, there are some teams obviously that have an issue that a lot of players play abroad and they don't play together, so they're not used to the same style. But us as an Armenian, national team, as Armenians, it's difficult to have players, a lot of them playing abroad and then coming together and then working on one system, because one player can be individually good, but as a team you need more quality together.
It's very common for the core of a team to be all from the same club, because like Chadan said, that cohesion that they get from playing week in, week out helps tremendously. And it also sets the tone for the rest of your team. I can expand this further by talking about the men's national team, where if you look at the spine or the core of the Armenian national team, you see David Yurchenko, Artak Grigoryan, and oh my God, his name's escaping me right now because I just don't even want to think about it. Armen, help me, please.
What do you want to say?
Our favorite central defender.
Afraid. No,
From
yeah,
Alashkert.
you don't even. No, let's get into that one.
My brain doesn't even want. Anyway, so
let's not
the
rip
whole
that
point
Band-Aid
being,
right now. Yeah,
well, my point being, see, the core of that central core of Armenian national team players all play for Alashkert together, which sets the tone for the rest of the team to be dog shit. So if you have a core of players that set the tone to be good, you'll have much better results. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I want to bring up when we're talking the actual on the pitch performance in the case of the women's national team. I saw the last window, like both games, whole games, and I think that the biggest and most urgent issue as of now for Coach Sanamian to solve is basically having better quality in the build-up, better quality building the game from the back of the pitch, because we are having a lot, and I mean a lot, of trouble creating quality plays from the back of the pitch without a solid first pass. And actually, this ironically mirrored this window for the men's national team as well, that we didn't have a solid first pass, and then from that, the whole build up, the whole team play, the whole performance in offense and possession crumbles. That ironically didn't happen for the under 21 national team. And without, for instance, without quality goal kicks, without quality throw-ins, and overall without quality early build up in the play, the attackers such as Nancy that could make wonders. Marat, don't even mention Marat. Those players need good chances. Those players need good build up. So fingers crossed, Coach Sanamian is working on that. We shall see this week. We are really looking forward to that one. But we gotta move on to our breaking news around the globe. First off, I am so excited about this one. And we're gonna bring in Tito for this one because he shares the same taste in football for me. Like for the player of the month we're gonna be mentioning, Tito, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We got
Vamos, finally.
We got some baby fever going on. And run me through our player of the month right now.
Spertian got elected player of the month at Krasnodar. So
This kid,
the only good news. The only good news. Ugh.
Well, the only good news.
Tito was telling me off the record we got another good news in terms of individual performances from another young Armenian.
Yeah, I was talking about Shagoyan, but that was from something that we already talked about from the under 21 national team.
Yeah, future stars of Armenian football. Football Kentron, we called it, bro. We called it. I'm telling you. Speaking of having called it, we got to talk about not Baltica FC, but Volgar Astrakhan against Baltika in Russian second tier, because the visitors that had Baltika has Ishkhan Geloyan, national team striker Ishkhan Geloyan, surprisingly, national team striker. Nothing against him, but they played against this Volgar Astrakhan with two Armenian stars in their starting lineup. No redundancy. Their captain is Artem Borisov, which is a basically younger Ishkhan Geloyan, younger, and I would dare say better Ishkhan Geloyan, and already the team captain. But their playmaker, number 10, is no other than someone we know very well, and I personally dig a lot for the way he plays, Artem Simonian. He scored a fantastic brace against precisely Geloyan's Baltica. Artem is, well, both Artem Simonian and Borisov have the same name, so I guess Artem Simonian is also a Spanish speaker. So honestly, they're both younger than Geloyan, the player they played against. They're both better. They're both performing, fit, in form. The reasons for them to be called for the national team instead of, say, for instance, Ishkhan are countless. Which leads me to the question for you guys. I open up the floor with those two, and we're getting into slowly the national team call-ups and national team as a whole. Would those two, Artem Simonian and Artem Borisov, would they have been a better call-up for the national team than Ishkhan?
What do we know?
Right?
We know zero.
Yeah,
Right?
I just look.
It's a
Here's the
rhetorical
thing.
question, but yeah.
Here's the thing. If you look at
Right.
the pecking order of the national team, Artem Simonian is such a good player, and he should always be in the mix. But would I rather have him coming off the bench, or would I rather have Shahoyan or Bichakcan coming off the bench? I'm always going to say Shahoyan or Bichakcan. Then what's the point of having this
That
guy
was
in the
not the
squad?
question, though.
Wouldn't I rather have a younger center back in the squad? I don't know, man. I'm just so frustrated with this whole conversation about squad players in the national team, not starters, squad players.
Exactly.
And how we keep pointing out how there are these good players with good returns playing at a decent level, and they're just getting overlooked for Geloyan, which just fucking baffles me.
What do you guys think, Tito Challenge?
I think that at least for the offensive part of the team, we have a lot of options. So I don't know how to say.
Exactly.
It's like
Why Ishkhan?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why him? Because we have a lot of options. A lot.
And there's also actually Eric Bartagnan, that I get it. He's a Spanish speaker from La Masia, Barcelona FC. I get it. He's an immense talent with a huge potential, like relatively young, like 23 years old, but he's just not there. He's just not informed. He's just not performing. Second window in a row. I think that's another player that should be dropped. Let's be real.
Yes, I agree.
I agree. Yeah. Even though he's such a good player, he's technically gifted and everything, like he just said. He's just not showing the form to be. I mean, he did score a penalty yesterday, but that's not the point. He's not there yet, and I think he's not going to be there until he leaves Armenia. And I know he tried that already, but
well, his transfer still does belong to Sochi in the RPL.
yeah, he's on loan, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on loan at Punic, but I don't know, man. I honestly don't really I don't expect much from him in the future with his injuries and stuff.
I mean, he's staying healthy right now.
Yeah, but with this kind of players, you never know, you know.
Let's see.
Uh,
Let's see. He has a contract until June 2022. So with Punic, but I don't know when his contract ends with Sochi. Oh, December of 2022. Yeah, no, he's not going back to Sochi. No way.
all right. So we gotta go to basically the elephant in the room. Jesus. Disappointment? I don't think so. Honestly, I was expecting what happened, and I went over this in our spaces. Everyone was like, "No, Armin, you're overreacting. We're not gonna do that bad. I don't know. The lineup, the squad is all right, whatnot." But no, something didn't add up. Do you remember, Adam, when you asked me in our previous episode what sensations, what vibes the squad list gave me, and I said better than last time.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, that was it. I mean, after that I elaborated and I said that doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean it was a good lineup, a good squad. That just meant it was better than last time out, which was a disaster. So a 1-1 against Iceland and a 1-0 defeat at Romania is not a disaster, but it's definitely worse than what we should have had, knowing the real talent we have and that it could have been way better under different circumstances. What do you guys think?
I think all of the fears that we had vocalized before this match came to fruition. The first one was in Reykjavik against Iceland. We said, you are going to fall asleep. This team will score on you. Armenia did a good job for 80 minutes. It was a tough game, but the team was holding on. The team got the goal. It was going really well. You know, Lucas was playing fantastic. Some questionable substitutions, in my opinion, and then followed by a lapse in concentration, and that's all it took. And it's just like how we called it. In the second game, we said that this is going either one of two ways. Either Romania is going to slaughter us 5-6-0, or it's going to be very, very close, and Romania is going to score one goal. And that's exactly what happened. And it's not for a lack of chances. I mean, the entire second half, I would say, Armenia was the better team. First half was the worst half I have ever seen Armenia play ever. And that includes that game against Germany, honestly. I think they played worse in this.
Yeah, I can
And
see that.
the second half was, I mean, it was as if life was saying, no, like this is not happening for you today. And that's what it felt like. Because, like we said, Henrik alone was given a goal on a plate by Lucas Zelarayan.
Not
and
just one. Not
twice.
just
Yeah, I
one.
said twice. And he couldn't convert either of them. And it was as if there was an extrinsic force saying, sorry, Armenia, not gonna happen. That's what it felt like to me.
Or it also felt like someone who doesn't want to play for the national team.
Oh, I'm interested.
That too. Expand.
Would you care?
Shida.
Yeah. Would you care to elaborate on that?
It seems that when Heno comes to play with Armenia, he's a completely different player that he's on Rome. So the only explanation to me is that he doesn't want to play with us. I don't know. I could understand it a couple of years ago when we had like 0 team. It was a disaster. But now he has a team and he plays like shit.
Well, that went PC went and clean language went right out the window, and I'm all for that. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No. We tell it
like
like
our
it is,
World
bro.
Cup chances right out the window.
Yeah, and I agree. That's mostly, well, not mostly, but a big chunk of the blame has got to go to Hano, because he is the captain. Technically, on paper, he is someone who's supposed to be responsible for a lot of what happens on the pitch.
Yeah,
And
and it just
and all of that responsibility is bad. Like, he ends up being responsible for the bad stuff, you know?
it's you know there I understand having games where you create a lot of chances and you don't convert them. I understand having those games once in a while, but the amount of times that happens to us is ridiculous. Just in this cycle alone, that happened against Liechtenstein twice. Both games were identical. It happened against Iceland, and it happened against Romania in that second half. You're talking about 4 matches where we, for the life of us, cannot convert. And it's not just Henrik. Sako
No, 3 of those
had.
Bro.
That guy cannot convert a chance. I swear to God, you can give him a tap in, he will miss. That's where he's at currently in his form. He for the life of him, he cannot do a single thing right. Tigran Barsegan.
To be fair, Sako. No. Let's dissect this. To be fair,
Sako was instrumental in that goal against Iceland. But how many games? Okay, he has like 30 appearances for the national team and only 2 goals. You can't be a striker and have those types of numbers. I totally get where you play in the system. I understand. Jura had the same amount of games as Sako does.
But he's a very different type of player.
But he's a forward.
Very different. He's a forward, but he's a workhorse type of forward. He's not a box.
You're sounding like those Liverpool fans that defend Firmino for not scoring a goal. His job as a number 9 is to score a goal.
That's the thing. He's not.
What happened?
But I think that the problem.
Sako is not a number 9.
The problem is not Sako. The problem is that I don't know. We always talk. I just said it 5 minutes ago that we have a lot of options for the offense, and we don't create chances. And when we create the few chances that we have, Heno misses
them.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
It's not that he aims far from the goal. He can't even kick the ball.
Look,
like wasted possession, missed passes, missed shots, like sitters.
I get that, but we're talking about in terms of whoever is playing as your number 9, which that is Sako's role on the team. He does not convert nearly enough as he should be. He just doesn't.
But that's the thing. He's not Yeah, go Tito.
No. We have to look at the stats and see how many chances we create.
That's a good idea. We should definitely deep dive into that.
Yeah,
that would be a good idea.
Like, legit. Like, let's be real. You have to think about how many chances Sako has had, right? And honestly, he hasn't missed many chances because he helps with the build-up, precisely because he's not a number 9 but rather a workhorse type of forward. He can score, but that's not what comes natural to him the most. His role is different, and that was seen when actually Heno was not in the squad when we won that record-breaking undefeated streak, scoring goals, over 2 goals per game basically. And the one time we scored 1 against Liechtenstein, Sako was actually the MVP. I literally remember talking to Tito about Sako and the way he was like spreading Liechtensteinian defenders through and through, all by himself. It was like he was playing by himself, and he contributed to opening up the Liechtensteinian defense. And the rest of the games, he contributed to us scoring over 2 goals per game. No Heno on site, and sometimes with a number 9, sometimes with no number 9. The important thing is the team, and Heno is clearly not a good fit for the team.
I'm not going to argue that because I agree. I don't think he's a good fit for the team. I think the team plays much better without him because the team plays as a team. And we saw some aspects of that. And we saw when, in the second half of that game against Romania, the game changer was
also,
Lucas.
yeah.
Lucas was making the team play as a team,
And Sako actually was a great kind of right hand for Lucas, kind of a secondary character, because in both halves during this window that Armenia played the best were the first half against Iceland and the second half against Romania, right? Both of them with a shining Lucas, with a shining Selarayan, no argument there, a game changer. But Sako, Adamian, was actually the one with whom Lucas was syncing up the best. Never mind Tico Parsekian, never mind Heno Mkhitaryan, everyone was there. But the man that Lucas understood the best in football language was undoubtedly Sarkis Adamian, which leads, in fact, the stat. The 1 goal we scored this window was an assist by Lucas and a pre-assist given to Lucas by Sako, by Adamian. Second half against Romania, the same. But this time, there was a different someone to miss the clear opportunities, plural, handed to him. We got to address, in my opinion, the uncomfortable issues, the uncomfortable truths, and ask the uncomfortable questions, because otherwise...
Here we go. I got it for you. You wanted to bring up statistics? I got it. This is directly from...
That's the thing. I don't...
No. You're talking about how... No, you want to talk about how many opportunities Sako has had? I have the numbers right here in front of me. So... Sako had this is World Cup qualifiers. We're only discussing this World Cup qualifiers so far. He has had 19.
This one.
Yeah,
he
has had 19 shots, 5 of which are on target. This is total so far. So his on target percentage is 26%. He has an average shots per 90 of 3 shots a game, and his shots on goal per 90 is less than 1 a game. So he's getting opportunities. He's just not putting them on target.
Yeah, because he's not the natural number 9 type of player.
He is, though. That's literally where he plays for Hoffenheim and for the national team.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yes, it is.
He plays kind of like a 3 striking type with Bebu and Kramaric, if he does play, which usually right now, after Hones got the helm, is not the case anymore. So he's got that problem going on for him at club level, and at national team level he was doing great until Heno got in, and the whole team went down the drain when Heno got in, and a few other players, of course, returned. I don't think Sako is a problem, because otherwise, with Sako on the pitch, we wouldn't have done as good as we did during that undefeated streak, in which Sako was one of the standouts for me, like hands down. No, Sako is definitely not the problem, and results are there to see. If you want stats, go over the results. Never mind the performances, the actual performances. When Sako was one of the best, go to the results. Sako is there in every single one. It's not Sako.
I have stats too.
I'm looking at Henrik's stats right now. They're
wait.
Yeah.
Tito knows the stats.
The last win with Heno on the pitch was more than 2 years ago. It was the 4-2 against Bosnia. And with him...
for non-Armenian audiences, Heno is reference to Henrik Mkhitaryan.
He hasn't won any game with Caparrós still. And from
Whoa,
those
whoa. That's a huge stat.
From those,
Also,
7 games, I think. Yeah, from the 7 games that he played, he drew 5 games and lost 2 games. And
so
it's
basically,
not that
yeah, go on.
he played, I don't know, he played against Italy, against Germany, and against Spain. So, yeah, of course, he can
You would
lose
understand that, yeah.
against those teams. But he has a draw against Georgia, a draw against Estonia, a draw against Liechtenstein. So, of course, the 6-0 with Germany was completely understandable. So, we can't blame Heno for that loss.
No, of course.
But yeah, these stats are horrible.
And let's be real. Last year, 2020, the semester of the Artsakh situation, you mentioned the draw against Georgia. It was awful. I mean, that game, yeah, it gave us a point. Yeah, Heno scored a penalty that he almost missed, by the way, and won by Geram Gadimian, my boy. That game against Georgia was probably the worst I had seen the national team play last year. We had a pretty good first window under Caparrós in September 2020 and a great season-winning, division-winning window in November 2020. Both of them without Heno. The one window in the middle, right in the middle, with Heno was October 2020, and it was by far the worst in terms of performances. I don't care about the results. I care about the performances. And same happened this window, same happened last window. Now, 2021, second semester. October 2021, September 2021, both windows with Heno, both awful performances.
I see Chaudens's hand is raised. Would you like to speak, Chaudens?
Because you guys would just keep on going.
We gotta address this. What do you have to say, Chaudens?
Then I've got a question, but then it's gonna cause a lot of more steer.
That's okay.
It's gonna open up a lot of. Okay, fine. I'll just ask it then.
It's a debate.
Okay,
That's
if we've got an issue with Heno playing, why don't we just not play him? I mean, we're not the coaches, but why?
Exactly.
Why don't we just play him?
That's why.
Why don't we go to change.org and just sign a petition?
Start a petition.
That was good.
You know why?
It's a humanitarian campaign.
Because in the eyes of international media, in the eyes of national football, you can't drop the one player that you have that plays in one of the best clubs, in the top 20, top 30 club in the world.
There you go.
It's
unrealistic, sadly.
I have a fun fact for that.
Sure.
Go with a fun fact. I love that.
I already told this fact to you, but it's a question. Which one would you say is the best Japanese player in the moment?
In the moment?
Yeah.
Toyota.
The only Japanese player I could think of is Shinji Okazaki off the top of my head because he played in the Bundesliga and I watch a lot of Bundesliga. But
I wanted to talk about another Japanese player that is Kagawa that played with Heno.
Oh yeah, the other United reject.
I don't know if it's the best Japanese player, but it's one of the.
Yeah, it's the one that got to the highest stages for them.
Yeah, like Heno, he played with Heno. He has the same age as Heno, and he doesn't play for the national team.
Really?
So
how are they doing?
They are third
Good
in their
question.
group and fighting for a playoff match in Asia, but doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, if they were top of the group, I would say, okay, there you go.
No, but Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Oh my
But the thing
God.
is, it goes further because they do not hesitate to cut a player regardless of their price tag if that player is not what's best for
To
the
be
team.
fair, where Shinji Kagawa currently is in his career and where Henrik currently is in his career are two different places. Henrik's in a much better place in his career right now.
Yeah, you're talking club career though.
Yeah,
There's
club
a
career.
huge
Yes.
divide. And hell, anyone that hasn't got LASIK done, sorry. No, really, anyone could see that there's a huge divide between Heno's form at club level and
Yeah.
international level.
Shinji plays, for those wondering, he currently plays at PAOK,
Oh, Salonika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
I
where
which
had to Google it.
Avedisian make your breakthrough, and if
no,
not, get a loan.
I was waiting for Oddman to start giving the reasons why PAOK is a better club than Roma. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, because I love Pau. Yep. You're
Yeah,
right.
speaking of, I mean, okay,
No,
we're
Roma's a
Armenian,
much better team.
we're an Armenian podcast, but Honda was also a fantastic player for the national
Yeah.
team.
Played
Yeah,
at
he
So,
reached
CSK in
Milan
Moscow.
and stuff. Yeah,
I mean, we
CSK,
cannot really
Milan.
compare us to Japan, but I'm just like
No.
saying, you know,
Well, Japan
he
has
played
made
well.
it to a World Cup. Japan has also hosted a World Cup, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
definitely Kagawa played at that level for a way longer span of time than Honda.
yeah. I wonder when
I
the
do
last time he
understand.
played for the national team was. Now I'm wondering. Wow. Oh, his numbers for Japan are much better than him. Well, they're actually
And then
about the
there's
same.
that.
Well, they're identical, actually. 97 appearances, 31 goals.
Okay. And
Uh,
and now it's over.
Yeah.
See, that's class. I mean, that's the right thing to do. But you know, we're not Caparros and we're not the FFA,
although
but
we could be.
we should be. I don't know if we could be,
Yeah,
but
we
we
should.
definitely should. We definitely should be. Guys, I want to ask this question to you. One positive and one negative aspect in general terms from the whole window.
positive, we're
two
gonna start
positive.
supporting Japan.
Oh, sorry. One more thing about this Japan thing, because I just
Oh my God.
no, Tito got me into a rabbit hole. So I looked at it. There was a period of time between 2018 and 2019 where Shinji Kagawa was injured and not in the squad, and Japan went on an 11 match unbeaten streak.
Okay,
Damn,
so
there you go.
guys, is there anyone
That's
from
the beauty.
Roma to hit Henrik basically, not to, you know,
Allow
anyone?
him to.
Let me get the phone call to
in the
Mourinho.
audience, yeah, if anyone in the audience is from Rome, hit challenge up. You know what to do.
No, hit Mourinho up just to go and literally hit, you know.
Henrik with a
would
baseball
hit.
bat in the ankle.
No,
Is that
I
what we're
would hit
coming to?
Mourinho as well. While we're at
Yo,
it.
contact Norway. What are we saying? Oh, he's not gonna play. Never mind.
All right, guys. What did you say, Armin?
One
You
positive and one negative each. Adam, you kick it up.
I'll start. Okay, my one positive. The forced changes that were made, or some forced changes that were made, ended up bearing a lot more fruit than we had anticipated. I'm talking specifically of Derderian at right back. I thought he was really good in both games. I thought he was a good example of how you can have a homegrown Armenian talent that can be good enough to play at the national team level. I think, and I noticed on several occasions in both games, you know, a lot of the attack was focused on Camo's side, but in both matches they decided to switch their focus of attack to the right side, and he was shutting everything down. And I was thoroughly impressed with him. I was very satisfied, and
the fun zone was a thing.
Yeah, and I just I wouldn't mind seeing him start at right back. You know, considering Hovo's getting, he's a lot older now, and I think we didn't see much of a difference. He was very good going forward, just like how Hovo is, and he's very solid defensively. I think in terms of a long-term right back, him and Jordy should be the two in the conversation, and I'm totally pleased with that.
At least, and that's the thing. We don't lack depth at
We
fullback.
don't.
Even at left back. The thing is, Camo's the one that gets the playing time, but they're way better players than Camo, and many other players for right back to give both Jordi Ararat and David Tartarian a fight for the money as well.
Well, my whole point was that this was a forced risk. Kaparos was forced to play someone else because Hovo was injured. And I just thought if Kamo was injured and he was forced to play Giro Margaren at left back,
it would have been way better.
It would have been much better for us.
But it was it was amazing. Good to bring it up. What's your negative?
In terms of one negative, I was really excited when I saw the initial starting 11 that we had against Iceland.
I think I'm literally thinking the same thing. Go.
I loved I saw the starting 11, I saw the front attack, and I thought, wow, this attack is going to kick ass. That's what I thought. And my negative is that despite, we always talk about we don't lack any depth in attack, we don't lack quality in forwards, but our high quality forwards haven't been converting those chances. And I think my one negative is the fact that we've only scored one goal in what seems to be, when was the last time we scored? We didn't score against Macedonia.
Another penalty against Liechtenstein.
So the last open play goal we had scored was the goal against Romania on match day 3. So
I wonder what changed.
My negative, and I've been harping on this for months now, is the fact that we cannot score a damn goal.
Well, at least if you can call it a good thing, at least we know the way out of that. The bad thing is that we know it's not going to happen.
Well, hopefully by next qualifying cycle, Gorman Velian and Grant Leon Mamedova will be Bayern and Nantes first team respectively, and they will be on the Armenian national team. That's just where my prayers are headed.
Hopefully, and I could see how that could play out in leaving some undisputed players out of the list. Challenge, what's your positive and negative?
Positive, it depends how it progresses. If the management team realizes this, is that because we didn't have the young ones, the energetic ones, the necessary ones, the ones that Football Kentron team wanted, means that let's say in the next window it doesn't happen. In the next campaign, we do hope to see them. If that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, I'll clarify it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So, because let's say Bichakcan, we didn't have him. It's good thing that we didn't have him, because now hopefully the management team realizes that we're missing out players like Bichakcan. We're missing out players like.
Makes sense now. Got it.
It totally depends if the management realizes this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hope it was a slap in the face.
Yeah, basically what I literally answered to Aram's takeaways, because we know what would take us out of this situation in a way, but we also know that it's likely not what is going to happen. What's your strictly negative aspect?
The negative aspect is the mentality part. Is that us as a whole, I realize that not just as a team, but as a whole with the fans, all of us, we thought that, as a whole mission, we thought that from the previous window, this escalated to this one, was that we have something to lose. And that's how the players played. it's as if I understand that we lost the place that we could have been in, but thinking that you have a place to lose puts you in a vulnerable position in your own thoughts. You think that you're gonna lose this and then it's just game over. It's not if you fight back, but the players, honestly, they didn't show that they actually fought back. Let's be honest. So
Yeah,
this
I agree.
mentality
And
aspects needs to be
I
considered.
like this. I like the fact that you're bringing mentality up, and I think it's a circle and a cycle. This is a strictly sociological aspect, and I think that the better you do, the better you're gonna lead to.
And
And
we're allowed to talk about this, though.
definitely,
Us as Armenians, we're allowed to talk about this. Why?
hell,
Because look
not
at the
just
Nations
allowed,
League. Look at the
not
Nations
just
League
allowed. We
campaign.
should.
Look at the Nations League campaign. How many games did we have that? Firstly, how many away games did we have that were not at the home games that we did not actually play
not in
at home,
Armenia.
We
and we
only
actually
played one home game.
fought back? No.
Mm-hmm.
We played one home game, but the other two home games we played abroad. How did we actually manage to do that good? It's because we actually had something to fight for.
There was a team mentality.
Yep. And second, there were players who had family members who were fighting, who had just fought the war back at that point. So we're allowed to say that the players has found something that wasn't in them in this window. There must have been something that they were missing, and they didn't find it.
There was no bullshit. There was no bullshit. And I'm quoting Tio here because there was no bullshit, and everything was being done for the team. And the players that needed to be dropped were dropped, and that's how we got what we got. And the mentality was there, the team was there, the cohesion, the performances, everything added up. Thanks to Caparros, of course, because he saw that Heno and a few other players were not a right fit for the team. Now things have changed, and I'm gonna get into that a little later. But before going there, Tito, what's your positive and negative aspects?
I have two positives because I didn't get to say the first one on the previous window, but it's similar to Aram's, and it's one positive thing is Tartarian. I really like him.
Definitely.
We have a right back, and yeah, for a lot of time. I hope that he plays for a lot of time, and I want him.
He's very young.
I don't want him near any post-Soviet leagues. I want him to.
I like that.
to
Western
go.
Europe. Yeah,
to Western Europe right now. And
that's where the best play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the other positive thing is, I think that Zelarayan. I don't know how to say it. He's a really good player, and we got to see that he's a good player, and he will be a great fit in this team. And I hope same thing. I hope to see him play a lot of more here in the national team.
Yeah, and I would love to see what Lucas does under better companionship. What's your negative?
Yeah, my negative is just that thing that you said.
You're welcome.
My negative is only one name, Mkhitaryan.
Perfect.
That's my negative.
Summed it up, like literally one word. Yeah, I think there's a lot. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I think there's a lot of takeaways here, a lot of general takeaways. We will keep talking about these ones, negatives, positives. For instance, I don't know, having wasted Spelzian's insane talent, because the kid is like top 5 leagues in the world, and he took one for the team and played defensive mid. Then against Romania started off playing 4-9 and then had to go back at defensive mid. nowhere nearly his natural area, playmaker, pulling the strings. He had to cover for Heno. He had to cover for Artak. That's not good. He's having the Lion Grigorian is having a dip in form and fitness. Also in the center of the park, Solomon Udo had an awful window. You could tell he was off, and his worst window by far, in my opinion. Then, in more general terms, I think it's the second straight game after Liechtenstein. Now, Iceland, both we draw 1-1, and we were expected, and we knew it was going to happen. We called it. We were expected to have more possession, which we did in both games. And we played with Heno Mkhitaryan running the offense, as Tito said. Nothing personal against him. We played with someone who doesn't seem to want to be there. We played with no natural defensive midfielder with a naturally defensive mindset. So, second straight game, we warned like the audience about the danger of having no defensive-minded midfielders. The game was screaming for Muradian, and we didn't have him. We didn't have defense. We had the fun zone in defense. A lot of takeaways when it comes to performance. We could go on and on, but I think the general, more important thing underlying all of this is that with no meritocracy and there is no success. If we keep choosing, this are my closing remarks, if we keep choosing our squad based on contacts, based on who's in good terms with whom, rather than actually who helps out the team the most, who has actually the best cohesion on the pitch, who makes the best decisions. Until we don't do that, we should face the fact that we will probably not reach any major competition and sustainable, decent football level. That's why I keep telling you, guys, as long as some players keep being called, no, that's what happens. That's what happens behind curtains. That we won't have a team in the locker room. We won't have cohesion. And say when someone that's clueless but well-intentioned soul could ask me, well, what if Heno wins us any game, like this game or that game? Well, the answer is pretty obvious to me. 1 or 2 good performances or 1 or 2 wins per year won't make up for the 6 years he's been missing in action for the national team since 2015. Think about that. We are better than this. We deserve better than this. I think we are all on the same page and we all are aware of this, which is more important. So, hell, we need to demand better than this. It's not personal. We love him. We love Heno. One word,
The way
we
he
love
said
you.
it's not personal.
It's not personal. We love him. He put
Yeah,
him
it's
on
not
the
like
map,
he knows us.
no, but we're fans, and he put Armenia on the football map. But it's clear that he doesn't fit in the team, and it's been 6 years that it's been so. And I personally, on my part, think it's time he considers stepping back or stepping aside and putting momentarily, even if momentarily, pause from the national team, because those historical games, the 9-game undefeated run, it was record-breaking for the Armenian national team. That was a way different team than the team we're now seeing, and both in terms of personnel as well as cohesion. The team that made history and broke that record through actual teamwork and cohesion and performances, which I constantly stress, those are the most important things. That team was a whole way different, even if 75% of the players were the same. And it was basically the inflection point during the friendly window with Heno's kind of toxic statement that changed everything and backtrailed on the project that was being done, that was being built. It was a very visible rupture, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys remember and if you guys see it like this, but I think people are forgetting about that statement and how it changed everything with way much ease. And I think we deserve better than that. And I think we should not forget about those things. Because let's face it, we were building something beautiful. We were building something amazing. And now for the second window in a row, we called it, and it happened. We are backtracking on everything that Caparros was building, and the FFA, President Melik Bekyan, was doing an amazing job. Everything is going away. It's being undone, window after window after window. It was a long-term project based on merit, cohesion, contribution, and it was everything for a decent football fan would want to see. And until those changes aren't made again and the damage is not undone, because we know it can be undone, it's been undone, hell, why not do it again? We're gonna demand that, you know? Our football, in a way, it's a reflection of who we are, and our potential is much better and definitely not mirrored by what we're seeing. We deserve better than that. So why not do what we can with each our tiny contributions to help improve that? Any last comments, guys?
I think you took all the words out of the room.
Well,
it had to be said, you know.
It had to be took said. Out all the words from the whole diaspora and the whole of Armenia, man. Not just the room.
We should hire you to give motivational speeches to everyone. I don't know if they'll go in motivated or sad. I don't.
Both. That's the idea. I mean, when you're sad and but motivated, you work your ass off to change stuff for the better. Tito, anything else?
No.
Okay, just
I thought the guy went to sleep, man, or something.
All right. Let's reflect on that. Let's keep complaining. Let's keep rooting for the women's national team that are playing this week.
That already was a reflection. Oh my god.
Oh no, the audience, I mean, and reach out to us. Anything that you might think might help. Slide through our DMs. We don't bite for now unless you like that.
Anything only Heno bites.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Heno. Do the right thing.
Follow us on social media.
Exactly.
Suggest us any content ideas you've got, anything that we can provide, however we can be useful as content creators of Armenian football, not just as a podcast. We're always available. We want to give more, produce more. So feel free to let us know. Please share, subscribe, all the social media,
all the beautiful
that you can give.
All the beautiful things for Armenian football. This has been Football Kentron, and until next time, or as Charles would say,
Debi Haftanak.